Vice President of Turkey calls purge victims terrorists. After a massive purge of state institutions, Turkey's vice president called the people who lost their jobs as terrorists, according to the Stockholm Center for Freedom. He also accused opposition parties of planning to reinstate former civil servants who lost their jobs after a failed military coup on July 15, 2016. A Haber, Oktay claimed that opposition parties should convince the public that these terrorists would be reinstated to state institutions. Following the failed attempt, the Turkish government proclaimed a state of emergency and began a sweeping purging of state institutions. By emergency decree laws, more than 130,000 public personnel were sacked for claimed affiliations with terrorist groups without judicial or legislative review. Another 1,058 schools and 1,769 non-profits were also shut down by the government. Aside from losing their employment, ex-public officials were denied access to a passport and were forbidden from returning to the public sector. As a result, they were unable to work in the private sector in an official capacity. Dismissed public workers' names were entered into the Social Security database in order to scare away future employers. According to a joint report, a human rights advocate and lawmaker from the People's Democratic Party, HDP, economic hardship, 97.9%, is the main issue facing purge victims and their families, followed by psychological issues, 88.6%, loss of social prestige and social exclusion, 83.7%, social circle disintegration, 83.1%, and unemployment, lack of employment, 83.1%, 73.2%. Turkey's major opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, has released its most current study on the topic, which indicates that at least 46 former public officials have died by suicide in the country, with the amount climbing to as many 100 instances in other sources. When Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the CHP's leader, said in August that if his party wins the next general election in June 2023, he will return all previous officials who had been dismissed from their positions due to emergency decree laws known as KHKs. According to HDP legislator Muazzez Orhanisk, the purge victims should get an official apology and compensation for the hardship they were exposed to, he remarked in late September.